What is up, y'all? This is Denzel B. Rand signing on with you guys and girls. So today we're going to be watching, I'm going to be reacting to Loki episode 3 breakdown of new Rockstar, seeing every hints and details of each episode. I am enjoying the show from episode to episode. It's brilliant. I cannot wait to see what this guy's breakdowns and little details and snippets that he has for us, for what I've missed and what you have missed or what you have seen. But let's talk into more reactions. Y'all ready? Good. Reaction! And, okay, play.
This is a breakdown of Loki episode 3, Lamentus, in which Loki and Sylvie play a game of who is enchanting whom. Folks, there's so much to break down.
I felt that vibe.
Huge reveals about the TVA to Asgardian and other alien languages to translate. Maybe even huge portions of this episode that might be one of our variants trapping the other in an illusion. So let's loose the juice from our tempad and drop in. The episode opens in an illusion that the Loki variant Sylvie placed TVA hunter C20 under during the events of episode 2. So opening this episode in an illusion instructs us as viewers to watch this episode very carefully. Because notice how over the Marvel Studios title leading into this, we hear this music.
There's something in the water.
This is called Demons by Haley Kiyoko, which is fitting for the way Sylvie and Loki are called devils this episode.
You're no trouble. You're devils.
And the way Sylvie has been compared to a demon in stained glass, and the lyrics of the song refer to having demons in one's head and say there's something in the water, all reflecting how Sylvie is in C20's head using a reconstructed memory of fruity drinks to
nice little detail.
C20 into revealing TVA secrets. Later this episode, Sylvie reveals that this particular memory from C20 was from hundreds of years prior, from C20's past as a human on Earth before she became a variant, confirming the theory that I shared in last week's Ms. Minutes video that all TVA employees are variants with memories wiped and forced into servitude by the timekeepers, which poses all kinds of implications, like perhaps Mobius was a jet ski salesman in his past life, maybe from San Diego, judging from that snow globe in the Renslayer's office that Mobius didn't remember getting. That could have been his precious relic.
Maybe.
Also, maybe Renslayer could have been a teacher or a principal at Franklin D. Roosevelt High School that pen was from. But this also explains why C20 was so panicked, repeating, it was real, after coming out of her enchantment, showing that her visions of her past life weren't just fantastical dreams, but subconscious memories of real events. Remember, B-15 also looked shaken. I suspect she too could have been linked with her past life. Now, the opening shot of the episode is this tropical-themed mug of a head, half drained, reflecting the way C20's mind is being drained by Sylvie in this moment. They just phrases, but only C20 gets one. Maybe Sylvie doesn't get one because Loki variants are technically frost giants. They're not affected by cold. But check out that patron in the background on the right. Looks a bit like Pietro Maximoff. I mean, I only mention it because Sylvie's enchantment works similar to Wanda's Hex reality, which also featured an alternate reality Pietro in it. There's actually a lot of parallels. Like later when Sylvie screams in frustration, her green sorcery blasts out like a shockwave, similar to how Wanda's agonized scream created a shockwave. Just could be a sign that variant Lokis could be potential Nexus beings with capabilities of setting the terms of a single reality, similar to how Wanda can do that. And if you think about it, Wanda did create the Westview Hex out of grief over Vision's absence, and what does Loki say to Sylvie here?
You lack vision.
Lack vision? Visions also work the same way, because notice that moment C20 suspects something is off about the reality, Sylvie switches it, jumping ahead suddenly to nighttime, similar to how whenever a glitch in the Matrix happened in Westview, Wanda would suddenly edit past it and progress forward in time. In that case, a sitcom decade forward. Also, Sylvie grabs C20's wrist to get her to refocus on her after the switch, showing how physical contact is needed to form that neural link for the enchantment. Now the music has changed to Deep Blue by Ladytron, with lyrics foreshadowing the whole journey ahead for Sylvie on Lamentus 1, seeking a power station on a train out of town. Hey, by the way, included in our Loki-inspired merch is our latest augmented reality shirt, which, when viewed through an AR app, the God of Mischief comes alive.
That's
Folks
dope.
who've already gotten it have sent us some awesome videos.
Yo, this show is just too interesting, man. Like I said, each episode gives out very, very great dynamic details, man. Even the music and songs and
as its weakest moment.
So detailed, I love it.
Tangled up in the timeline. Ironic considering this is exactly what Sylvie has just done to the TVA. But notice that TVA cop scream as Sylvie erases him. Yeah, his wail is digitally filtered, actually similar to the sound of Neo's scream that moment he got unplugged in Matrix. And that may be what
my favorite
Sylvie is
movie.
doing here, unplugging these mind slaves and restoring them to their natural states, which might be why it seems to bring us so much
Interesting.
satisfaction to do it. Loki snatches Sylvie's tempad and depletes its juice, leaving them marooned on Lamentus 1 in the year 2077, as another planet is about to collide with it, Melancholia style, actually kind of like the way Thanos grabbed a moon and threw it at Titan. But Lamentus is actually in the comics. It's an outworld planet on the edge of Kree space. It's from the Annihilation Prologue issue, which features the destruction of Xandar. Now, 2077 would be about 6 decades after Xandar's off-screen destruction by Thanos prior to Infinity War, so perhaps we're now seeing the aftermath of the Nova Corps' inability to protect Xandar's colonies. Here, Atlantis 1 is a mining colony, I think based on LV-426 and Aliens, which we know was a reference for this episode based on the guards being named Private Hudson and Corporal Hicks, which are Bill Paxton and Michael Bihn's characters in Aliens. Sylvie tries to enchant Loki, but her magic flickers out on his head the way it did with the TVA.
What are you doing?
What are you doing?
Yeah, Sylvie's reaction makes me think Loki in this moment might have tried to rebound the spell and enchant her. From this moment on, it's not really clear if either have been enchanted, but it is weird that the meteor shower outside subsides after this, despite this oncoming planet coming closer. On the walk, they bicker.
Don't call me variant.
I'm sorry about not calling some faded photocopy of me Loki.
Good, because that's not who I am anymore. I'm Sylvie now.
Oh, you changed your name. Brilliant.
It's called an alias.
This confirms that Sylvie did begin a Loki variant, but due to Loki's sex fluidity, just takes a female form. But the name Sylvie was an alias that she chose. So despite using the term enchant a lot, she's not exactly Sylvie Lushton Enchantress.
Because I was thinking that
but
I'm
really
thinking
a
about
new
Enchantress.
character inspired by both Lady Loki and Enchantress. And they enter this town that is covered with alien lettering, which from what I can tell matches neither the Skrull language written on Rocket Scanner and Guardians of the Galaxy, nor the established MCU Kree alphabet, making me wonder if this could be Xandarian, but we don't really have a way to translate. But that
And the episode did have like a Guardians of the Galaxy color palette to it. Like,
Loki and handing over the tempad to charge it. That top word has 6 characters, and using the substitution decoding process I used for the Riddler cipher in the Batman trailer, you always start by looking for repeating symbols, and some do repeat. The 2nd and the 4th are the same letter, and the 3rd and the 5th are another letter. So we're looking at a sequence of 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. So then you gotta do some guesswork based on really whatever the most commonly used letters tend to be in combinations with each other. I'm wondering if those could be R-E-R-E, and the word could be prereq, or pre-requirements, and all those names in red on the side being the names of colonists given priority status.
This guy, man.
Which is why this building would be the one building left in town with the lights on. This is what I do with my time.
I see.
Kicks open the door to the trailer only to be blasted with a gun. Looks a lot like a recreation of that moment that Bride tried to get the drop on Bud in Kill Bill Volume 2. Inside, Loki
Good
notices
comparison.
a woman's framed photo with her husband. Kind of looks like a nod to Grant Wood's American Gothic, but common misconception that does not depict a married couple, but a farmer and his daughter. Kind of similar to how Loki and Hela are step-siblings in the MCU, but in Norse mythology, Hela is Loki's daughter. So at the train station is a line of angry colonists trying to evacuate, including some kids, and you know that means camera, lens, eye contact. But there are these 2 guys that appear to be twins, which could be another interesting Matrix parallel. Because in that woman in the red dress scene, the Wachowskis populated the extras that bumped into Neo with twins. Twins! Really as a way to evoke this dreamlike simulation. This could be another possible clue that this may be Loki or Sylvie having enchanted the other in an illusion. But real quick, I want to do a Loki and change my shirt. But before we continue, thanks to Displate for sponsoring this video. Displate makes high-quality art prints on...
yo, like I said, does this dude work for Disney? Like every detail and every variations, every one of his notes and stuff like that. See, I know 80% of Marvel, you know, of comic books, but in some parts of films, the films introduced me to it, but I don't know too much about the whole Marvel universe. So being educated in this world, I love it.
With
I love it.
Displate, you can build collections of the things you're passionate about right on your wall. With every Displate that you buy, you plant one tree through Displate's partnership with the nonprofit Trees for the Future. Check out some of my favorite Marvel, Star Wars, and film-inspired Displates and get your own using the link in the description, and you'll get a special discount up to 37% off when you buy 3 or more. You'll be supporting our channel and making some major upgrades to your walls, so click on the link and get your own Displate. Now, the wealthy getting elite access to this train is a bit similar to Bong Joon-ho's Snowpiercer, in which he uses a train as kind of a Marxist allegory, in which the rich get luxury cars to the front, but that capitalist engine ultimately serves no one, similar to how this train leads to no one's escape from destruction. Now, Loki has to sit in the backwards-facing seat on the train. Trains also feature prominently in the movie Inception, where, in the opening sequence, Nash and Arthur sit in a train car backwards, facing the Mark, Saito, who was actually trapped in their false reality. I mean, I just find it interesting that they called attention to the seating like this, and after some
Such great details that you don't even be thinking about.
Who's now facing the opposite direction in the frame, and this was after Loki had asked her earlier,
How long do we have?
12 hours or so.
and now Sylvie refers to her memory as...
Just blips of a dream at this point.
Now, Sylvie learned earlier than Loki did in her timeline that she was adopted and had to teach herself magic.
Which I
We
thought
think
was
that
interesting.
Her mother figure from her timeline might not have been Frigga. On one event report that Loki read in episode 2, the name Sylvie Laufey-Daughter appeared, the surname being instead of Laufey's son of Laufey, daughter of Laufey. So I wonder if perhaps Sylvie's maternal figure could have been Hela, who in her timeline might have accompanied Odin in that battle against the Frost Giants, in which Laufey's offspring was taken as a ward, and that Hela could have left an impression on Sylvie, maybe even given her that sword before Hela was banished.
That would be
Sylvie also reveals
interesting.
having a lover.
Managed to maintain quite a serious long-distance relationship with a postman whilst running across time from one apocalypse to another.
She could be referring to Stan Lee, who
I was just thinking about that when she said that.
and then bragged about that to the Watchers in Guardians Volume 2. By the way, he also cameoed in the 2005 Fantastic Four film as a mailman. Some are also saying it could be that delivery driver in Westview. But Postman reminds me of the song Nick Fury used to
I was
inspire
thinking
the
about
name
that.
Captain Marvel.
Marvel sounds a lot better, you know, like the Marvelettes.
Wait,
Oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman.
Fury was
He
an
put
interesting
the-
name for Sylvie, but why not the person who ended up taking that name, Carol Danvers? Because Loki reveals himself as bisexual,
A bit of both. I suspect the same as you.
and Sylvie doesn't really argue with that. And Carol would have been a superpowered galaxy hopper whose whereabouts were unknown from 1995 to 2018. So Sylvie wakes up to find Loki singing. Now, according to the captions, this is in Asgardian, making this the first time we've heard Asgardian as a language in the MCU, though it's really Norwegian. His lyrics translate to, "In stormy black mountains, I wander alone. Over the iceberg, I pull myself forth. In the apple garden stands the maiden fair, and I sing, 'When will you come home?'" Loki, drunk, calls back Thor's move in the first Thor film.
Another.
Another!
Yep.
Another!
And he tells Sylvie that he's not drunk, just full, which is another in-joke because in Norwegian, to be full means to be drunk. Loki gives an answer for their chat about what love is.
Love is a dagger, but ultimately when you reach for it.
It isn't real.
Recalling the famous soliloquy in
I find that
Shakespeare's
scene to be
Macbeth,
very
when
poetic.
Macbeth hallucinates an imaginary dagger. Perhaps here, the dagger is a symbol of Loki's betrayal of Sylvie, with everything they're going through being a kind of dagger of Loki's enchantment. Now, during the prologue, notice how Sylvie uses her crown as a weapon. This is a move that Loki did in Thor Ragnarok. And
Yeah,
as Sylvie pulls her sword
that
out
I
of the
caught.
bar, you can barely make out some writing on it. They look like Viking runes, similar to the ones that are carved in the Mjolnir and Stormbreaker. In this case, they're kind of hard to translate, but to me, it looks like TH.
I was about to say translated Rockstar.
U and then maybe SUPN. There's like a dozen different Norse rune alphabets out there, and I haven't been able to line up any of these perfectly. I like how when Loki hits the ground outside the train, he makes the same plank pose that he did when hitting the sanctum floor after falling for 30 minutes in Ragnarok. And then he reveals the tempad, but it is broken. Though, again, perhaps what we are looking at here is just part of an illusion by Loki to manipulate Sylvie into revealing exactly how her enchantment works. Because only now does Sylvie finally reveal that she mind controls by reconstructing memories. And she also reveals to Loki that the TVA are actually memory-wiped variants, which are big things that Loki has gained through this experience.
Which is
leads to
interesting.
the same seemingly impossible long take through the collapsing city of Sharu. Now, at first glance, this awesome-looking sequence appears to be a 3-minute unbroken long take, but like many long takes in movie and film, it is actually several shots stitched together, with hidden cuts if you look closely. Shot 1, Loki and Sylvie enter through the tunnel. Loki steps on a barrier to see the gates closing, and then the camera pans as 2 runners pass the frame. Cut on the pan there. And shot 2, following the 2 of them down the alley. Camera orbits them a few times.
I love camera editing stuff styles like this.
Shot of that colliding planet cracking in half, and then a meteor striking a nearby building, flashing the frame. Cut there. Now on to shot 3 of them as they duck from debris and run towards an explosion that blows them back, tilting the camera and filling the frame with smoke. Cut there to shot 4, where the camera tilts back up with Loki's rise, and then they run into that cafe and they confront some guards. I think there were some cuts hidden in there.
That whole sequence was just brilliant.
Cut when the camera passes a beam onto shot 5 as they run and have their way cut off, and they take cover. They follow another running woman back to that same building that collapses. Crane up on a VFX shot of that collapse. Cut there to shot 6, where they run and Loki freezes that tower from crushing them, reverses it back up, and then right after,
that was hot.
As Loki runs right with the whip pan, there's a really hard to spot cut there. Notice Loki's body from 2 different shots are layered on top of each other, barely overlapping, leading to shot 7. Where
and you know what's so funny? We don't pay attention to this because we're so involved in the story. You know,
Loki's charm foreshadowed. Got some fireworks. Now, notice that in their last moves, Loki and Sylvie do these same leg sweeps on the guards, mirror images of each other. Some are saying that Loki might have used a stolen time stone to stop and reverse that tower collapse. But after Loki used telekinesis to summon that Roomba, I later realized that we've also seen Loki use telekinesis to throw over all the furniture in that prison cell in the Dark World. So this is something that he can do. Also, that time stone only would have worked if Lamentus 1 in 2077 is that exact prune timeline that time stone was taken from. And since Sylvie created the whole bunch of branches with their bombing, I just think it would be really hard for Loki to think ahead so perfectly. Also, I'm pretty sure we heard that time stone clunk back in the drawer. Really, if Loki had a functional time stone here, he would have used it in dozens of ways.
Right.
But I still believe it is possible that for all of these events on Lamentus 1, or at least part of Sylvie after waking up the train at some point, could be part of Loki's enchantment on her, designed to gain Sylvie's trust to learn what he needed about the TVA so that he can turn her in and get back in their good graces. Whether or not that's the case, not being quite sure if we're under Loki's enchantment at any given moment is what makes the show so enchanting.
Right, because he's very tricky.
Updated with photos of Loki and Sylvie together, evoking how Loki called her a poor photocopy of him. Here, both are black and white photocopies, all while Bonnie Guitar's Dark Moon plays, with the lyrics paralleling the way Loki and Sylvie's scheme was cut off by a dark moon. Or it was a planet. It looked like a moon.
How ironic.
Anyway, support this channel by checking out our new Loki-inspired merch options, especially...
Wow. Very interesting, this guy. Like I said, new Rockstar, man. Anytime I watch any movie or TV show, I just want to say, I just think, like, what is new Rockstar analyzing and thinking? Because this guy, you had to take a whole lot of time and details to do all these things and think about these things and stuff like that. And the one-shot thing that happened at the end of the episode, which was my favorite part of the TV show. And like I said, what I love about this TV show, you're diving deeper into the character, and we find out that the TVA in episode 3 of Loki is not what we think that they are. So could it be a possibility that it could be an illusion, because they're like the female Loki is doing a mind thing and they're digging into their past and stuff like that. Like, that's where they're really at, but it's like in their semi-matrix form, and they're thinking that's what they believe that they are, but what the TVA that they say is the enemy, which they say is not real. So I don't know what to expect, so it could be an illusion, or I don't know. It's called Loki. It's tricksters. Can't wait to see what episode 4, 5, and 6 is. We got a few more episodes to go through and stuff like that, and but I'm really excited about Loki and what Marvel's doing with the show, stuff like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, what was your favorite moment, new Rockstar popped out to you? What was interesting about you? And what do you love about Loki? Comment below, and please let a brother know. Also, if you enjoyed my reactions, click like, subscribe, and share. More videos we posted each and every other week. So with that being said, this is Denzel B. Wren, sign out with a bang. Ha! Woo!